got quite a few requests for an update video on my 2008 GX470. And so some of you had asked for more details on some of the other things I'd done. So I thought what I'd do is I'll just do a quick walk around today, and then you can tell me in the comments if there's something you want more details on. All right, here we go. Let's take a look. Okay, so here we have it. This is a 2008 GX470. When I bought it, I had 60,000 miles on it, got it from the original owner, and since then I've put about 30,000 miles on it over the last 3 years. It is an extra vehicle, though lately it's been my go-to. I love driving it, and so it makes me happy. So even though I don't need to drive it, and I usually try to keep the miles low, I end up driving it a lot. So I thought I'd just go ahead and show you a couple things to get started, and then again, like I said, if you want more info on something, let me know. First off, wheels and tires. You're looking at Cooper Discover ST Maxes, and these are 255/80 17s. This is a true 33-inch tire, and the first question I always get is there a lift on here? There is nothing. I actually have the lift sitting in the back of the truck. You may have seen some of my other unboxing videos, and I have not installed the lift, guys, so it is on my to-do list, but you know, 2020, so still things to do. These are FJ 8-hole wheels that I painted. They were originally silver, the light silver, and I gave them this kind of stainless steel gray. You know, these have a little better offset, so you get another maybe ½ inch of poke coming out of the wheel well, and for the 255s it sits real nice. When I lift it, I may end up going ahead and doing wheel spacers, but it is a heavy wheel and tire package, just be aware of that. The great thing about the 255/80s is you're getting the biggest tire combo you can get on this truck stock. Now, to do that, first things first, got to cut the front flaps, and then you'll see in here pushing forward and trimming the inner front flap, plastic flaps in the fender well. So again, this is just zip tied. So here, I'll go ahead and zoom in here. You can kind of see it's just zip tied right here to the front, and that's it. That's all it really took. A little bit of push and a little bit of zip tie. These are rad rubber replacement inner fender liners, because of course the stock ones are garbage. And yeah, Metaltech sliders. The issue with these is riv nuts, or nutserts as they're also known, and I'll just show you underneath. I did not use them, and on my build on I Ate Mud, I showed how I fished these through using hanger wire so that I wouldn't have to use the riv nuts. So they're actually fully bolted through on the frame. I hate riv nuts, and we'll get to that probably a little bit more as we go around. Polish these headlights every year, but I'm in Florida, so this truck does sit outside, so 6 months later they're faded. But all of these are LEDs, as well as the little driving light. Upgraded to some Baja Sports S2s and some Amazon Special spots, and I run the amber lenses as my fogs, and they're wired directly to the original fog light. Underneath you'll see front tow hooks, and of course the bumper has been trimmed, which is really easy to do. If you get an 80-degree sunny day and you let the truck sit outside, get some painter's tape, and then you're able to just go to town. I used just a utility knife, and it cut like butter, so really not that hard to do. One thing I will say is that underneath here, and you'll see with my radiator, and I have a new radiator, they all leak eventually, mine did too, is I use some duct tape, aluminum duct tape, to seal off the bottom, because originally there was foam here and that just kind of got disintegrated, but it did help give me a little better wind direction. I think. So, painted grille. Everybody asks about the Toyota emblem. That's a original Toyota Corolla emblem. I just measured and found it on eBay, so that's it. And the grille's rattle canned as well. Probably needs to be touched up. It chipped a little bit, but I did take it off, sand it down, and it's got probably 4 coats to get it to that point right there. So just moving around, I'll show you the roof rack. And this was all just off of tnuts.com with a Z. I did drill these out just as well so I could do some drop-ins. And normally, if I'm on a trip, this has been great. So I went with 5 bars, and I did an extension on the back. And it's held up great. It's been on here for, I don't know, about 6 months. No extra wind noise, and it's snug. It is very, very snug. It does not hit, but it is only maybe 1/4 of an inch off the roof panel. So it's definitely pretty tight. So let's see. So that's pretty much the front, the top. Here we've got a JW Off-Road tire carrier, and I have another initial video on that. You can check that out. I've had it on here. I was one of the very first. It's been on here a year, so I can do a separate video in the future on an update if you all would like some more info on that. This is my zip-tied rear camera, and it has lasted a whole year, and it is still good and strong and hasn't gone anywhere, so I haven't bothered changing it. But for lighting, these still work. But I went ahead and tapped in to the trailer harness actually for these backup lights, and these are just Amazon specials. I have not trimmed the rear bumper. A lot of guys are surprised by that, but I like having the rear mud flaps as much as I can, and I've never ripped it off. So I don't do any hardcore rock crawling. Mostly I'm on sand or mud, and that's about it. This is the Southern style off-road little hitch. If I was to do it again, I wouldn't go this route. I'd go with a Toyota factory one where you have to pop this panel off and it bolts on, just because I think it has a slightly higher tow rating. But yeah, I just popped out these rear reflectors and painted this lower panel right here on this line to just clean up the back a little bit and make it a little bit better. It kind of hides that hitch as well. So I think it looks pretty good. So if we go inside, here's the mess. This is obviously our beach mobile. Cooler and chairs and all that good stuff. Power has been added to the back with a switch, and in here, of course, I've got the fuse panel. This is all built homemade, so I've got storage on the sides as well. And this is just a platform that I built and designed myself so that I could have a sleeping platform and a little more storage. This panel's out just because I'm planning the rear lift, and I'm going to add auxiliary airbags, and so I'm actually going to run the ports for the air through here, so that's why that's off. Rear table from Orange Box. Gotta say, love this table. It is, though, way too heavy. If I was to do this again, I would not get the stainless top, because I think it adds too much weight, especially with the rear tire. Now, I say all of that, I haven't had any problems, nothing's broken, but it just seems like a lot of weight and unnecessary. And this particularly, I think, would be better if it was plastic or even a thin wood instead of the heavy stainless, because it is very heavy duty. But it is a beautiful table and it works well. Good quality. The only thing I've noticed is that sometimes this will catch in the door, and when it does, it likes to pop this panel off. So just a little heads up on that as well. But hinges on the door, no issues at all, even though this is definitely a significant amount of weight over stock. Some have asked about the rust on this. I think JW Off-Road has updated this so that it has a new design. I just put some ring grease on there for right now. It's ugly, and if you're not careful, you will get grease on you. So really not a good design, but it was necessary because I just didn't want any rust issues on this strike panel that is down here. And you can see where I've added grease on here as well, just to prevent any rust from forming. So here we go. This is just taking a look under the hood. I went ahead and got rid of my engine cover. It was just in the way most of the time anyway. Nothing really has been an issue. I have not been able to get this PCV valve out. So just a couple simple things. This is a light controller for those auxiliary lights. This is the simple one that everybody recommends. It's inexpensive. It has a cordless remote. But what I did do is run power to a low voltage cutoff. And so here's the switch and a custom switch mount. And this, of course, is fused as well here. So this unit goes, and every accessory that I have on this truck runs through here. So I will never drain my single battery because I don't have a dual battery setup. So I think it's set to like 12 amps. And then that power runs here back through to the back where I have that auxiliary power. So moving inside, first thing you'll notice probably are my ultra wide armrests. These are the greatest interior modification you can make. So I know they're expensive. I think they're $300 or close to it, like $250, something like that. And there's a guy, you can Google him online, that hand makes these. Very stout steel. You do lose the ratchet, but you get this ultra wide flat surface. And from having a 4Runner with a nice center console, this to me was just a must. And I have to say that I'm really pleased with them. Not perfect color match in this light. You can kind of see it probably in this video, and that would be my only complaint. Moving on to the interior is my setup here. Again, this is a 3D printed switch panel from a guy in Australia. I'm pretty happy with it. It initially had some issues. I think he's actually updated the design so that it fits better. Some of these plugs had to be modified. In this one, you can kind of see it's a little bit crooked. And these are useless because there isn't enough space for Toyota switches. But this was really nice, and it of course has the scan gauge too in there as well. So here's the controller for those auxiliary lights, and that's just velcroed to the center console. Probably notice power rear vents, gotta love those. And it moved the heated seat switch closer. I was able to run all these auxiliary ports and this still retains the auxiliary port here from the factory, and added room for the scan gauge and the rear vents. And Grom V-Line 2 with CarPlay. And I can't show you the CarPlay because I'm using my phone to film this, but it does work. And again, this would be one of my other favorite. Earlier on, there were a lot of issues with this not working great, and it would crash a lot. But since updates have come out, it's just gotten better and better and more reliable as well. So that's pretty much the interior. I don't think, other than mats and I guess rear power outlet as well, that I added to the back. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and again, thanks for watching. If you like this content, you can always like it or subscribe. I'll try to keep posting info as I go, and of course, I'm happy to tell you I'm not sponsored by anybody, so if there's something here that I like, I'll tell you, and if I don't like, I'll also tell you that too. All right, stay safe, everybody.